Hi, welcome to my doll customizing journey. My name is Josephine and these are my creatures. Pokemon were a big part of my childhood, so when Charlotte Repaints on Instagram was announcing that she was hosting a Gen 1 Pokemon collab, I had to join in. I was a little bit late to the game, so some of my childhood favorites were already taken. But I wanted to challenge myself, so I picked Bellsprout for my Pokemon. Here are some inspiration pictures that I collected to get me on the right mood for this custom. Because Bellsprout is the first evolution, I decided to work with a Howleen doll, because she is more cute and young looking. I did change her hands with Cleo, just because I need a little less claws in this custom. The prepping is the same old thing, cutting off her hair close to the scalp. I also cut off her cute wolf ears because I have something else in mind. Then it's time to wipe her factory face with pure acetone. To get the head removed from the body, I dunk it into hot water and let it sit there for a while. It doesn't take much for the vinyl head to turn squishy. Protect your hands with a towel or something similar when you remove the head. Then it's scraping time. Remove the stubble with pliers and pull out all the remaining hair. This time for hair, I went with yarn, because I wanted to have a little bit of a wavy texture. I'm thinking of giving her two cute buns on her head, kind of reminiscent to Bellsprout's head shape. I measure the yarn using my notebook. After cutting it, I unravel the strands. It's better to have a cheap yarn for this, because the yarn is twisted very lightly and it unravels very easily. I'm using the yellow from a colorful pack I got from the Flying Tiger. It's a similar store to Dollar Store or Poundland, I think. I paint the scalp yellow to match the hair and fill the holes left from the ears with fabric. Then it's time to reroute the hair. I only reroute the hairline and bangs because I don't want the hairstyle to be too bulky. I was lucky that the doll already had a similar hairstyle going on, so I just followed the existing holes. I mentioned that Bellsprout was not my childhood favorite, but the design spoke to me. My die-hard childhood favorites were Eevee, Vaporeon, Rapidash, and Ninetales. And my favorite character in the show was Meow. What are your current favorites or your childhood favorites? Tell me in the comments down below. In place, I pour in some glue and spread it around with a Q-tip. To style hair into space buns, I start with pigtails. Then I add another rubber band to the tip of the pigtail and sort of twist it to get the bun shape, then secure the hair with a little piece of the same yarn. I comb out the bangs because I want this part to be more fluffy. I cut the bangs roughly to the length I want, and it's time for the face-up. Protect the hair with a scrap fabric and spray it with MSC. I did this off camera. To start the face, I always use pastels first. I'm applying brown pastel to the face to make her skin tone a little bit darker. I'm doing this to create more contrast between the face and the hair. And I know I want her to have a white top and a dark green overall dress. So the color scheme just needs something to act as a nice mid-tone. After the initial pastel layer, I go in with my Derwent Inktense pencils to sketch the eye shape. I want my doll to have a very surprised expression, because when I look at Bellsprout, she always looks very surprised to me. I'm also giving her an open mouth look to add to the expression.
Oh my god.
I used yellow for her eyebrows, but you can barely see them. I did end up going over the eyebrows with acrylic and a little lighter pencil to make them show up. Pokemon has very small black eyes, so I give my doll dark brown eyes with black shading to mimic that. I add pupils and darken things here and there until I'm happy with the details. Bellsprout has goofy pink lips, so I choose pink for my doll as well. When it comes to eyelashes, I think painting them on suits the young character that I'm going for, so trying to be extra delicate when drawing them in. The highlights. This is one of my favorite parts. It's just so magical, it breathes life into the doll. Here I am spraying the final layer of MSC. To make her bangs behave, I force them down with a rubber band. I recommend doing this to your custom dolls if they are in storage longer periods of time. Helps the bangs behave. I ended up cutting the bangs a little bit shorter so that you can see her eyebrows. I used the tiniest bit of glue mixed with a lot of water to make the fibers lay flatter. I'll gloss her eyes and lips and then move on to her body. I want her to wear bright yellow happy wellies, and I want it to look natural, so I'm modifying her feet from tiptoes to flat feet. To do that, I cut her foot in two places, kind of where the joints would be if the foot could move. I saved the toe parts because sculpting feet and tiny toes is very difficult, and I'm not really good at it. I use a Dremel to cut to plastic, but you can use hand tools as well. To reconnect everything, I use wire. Twist the pieces and tighten the wire until everything is aligned nicely. To fill everything in, I use Magic Sculpt. It's easy to use. Just mix equal parts A and B. Use gloves if you have sensitive or dry hands. I usually wear gloves at the mixing part. I mostly sculpt with my silicone tools, so my hands are not in the medium all the time while sculpting. After everything is dry, I sand the surface and paint it with acrylics. While I have the Dremel out, I sand off the molded underwear because I just hate how it looks, and blush the body to make it match the face-up. To create a little bit of interest to her design, I'm making these vines out of wire covered with paper. The color was a little off, so I ended up covering that with a yarn that is a lot brighter in color. Bellsprout has these two leaves that represent the arms. For my doll, I decided to make the leaves out of polymer clay and turn them into hair accessories. Moving on to her outfit. First, I thought I would try dyeing the fabric, like a really nice ombre from green to white, but it didn't work out. The green dye did not turn out the color I was hoping. It's like more brown than it is green. So I scrapped that idea and just made her a white cropped shirt instead. I also made these fake socks or leg warmers for her. Just a nice detail to pick out from her wellies that I'm making later. For the bottoms, I'm sketching out this overall dress. I have this dark green cotton fabric that is just perfect. Thank you for Vanessa, she sent it to me. I start with cutting the patterns out of the fabric. Then I sew the front piece together and I top stitch everything to make it look more realistic. Then I'm sewing the sides together and again top stitching. I make the straps of the overall from the same fabric. I also make tiny working clasps from wire. I don't know where the rest of the footage went from making the wellies, but what I basically did is I paper machéed a cast of her legs with a lot of extra room. Added magic sculpt to it, made the top part of the boot out of fake leather fabric, painted everything with yellow and white, and they turned out so cute, don't you think? The last thing left to do is to put her head back on and call her done. I also made this cute little necklace for her out of polymer clay, to reference her evolutions, Weeping Bell and Victory Bell. Now to some serious talk. As you guys may know, the doll customizing community is in a little bit of a pickle because the changes YouTube needs to make to not be in violation of the FTC and the COPPA, or Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. There is going to be some changes in my videos. Luckily, I'm so small that at the moment I'm not monetized, but that is my dream to be someday. And I don't want to make my content for kids. So I urge you to sign the petition and write to the FTC. Links are in the description box below. I think together we can make a difference. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't yet done that, and tap the bell while you're at it. Like this video and leave a comment. I would love to know what you think of my version of Bellsprout. Until next time, bye!